Hello, my name is Gazi Hossain. My student number is 113055532, and this is my final project. Let's go over the function I'm going to implement. I'm going to implement a user registration function, a profile management function, a health history function, a dashboard, and a scheduling session function. In this case, I'm assuming that a member is able to get solo sessions. And for trainer, we're going to do schedule view member lookup. For admins, we're going to do room booking, where admin can change a room that is booked on a session. And for bills and payments, they can manage membership status, print out payments for a member. In this case, we're not implementing any class or gym function, so we don't need an entity for those. In total, we need 9 entities. Out of them, 2 of them are weak entities. Let's go over to the diagram. Let's start with member. Each member needs a personal fitness, but they're not required to have one. It is a one-to-one and partial for member side. Same thing, each member can have multiple records, but they're not required to have one. Each member needs a membership subscription, and each member can only have one. Each member can have multiple payments, but they must have a payment at least. For the weak entity, we have the date recorder as the primary key, but there's a problem with it because it's gonna take the member ID as the 2 primary keys together. But if a member adds a member on the same date, it's not going to be unique. So we're going to prevent the member from adding another record on the same date, and that goes same for this, the payment record. We're going to prevent the member from adding 2 payments on the same date. For admin to membership, it's going to be many to many. Many admin can manage many memberships, and same thing for session. Admin can manage many sessions. For one, member can have multiple sessions, but they're not required to have a session. Again, I said they can book a solo session, so in this case, a trainer is not mandatory, so it's partial participation on the on the session, and one trainer can be in multiple sessions. For room, a session must have at least one room, and one room can have many sessions. For variables, I color coded them in green, so it's a bit easier to see. For members, we could use email as the primary key, but in this case, for consistency, trainer had a trainer ID, admin had an admin ID, so I thought it would be good to use a member ID. Let's go for the mapping. Okay, we create 3 new tables. For trainer to session, it is one too many, but in this case, if I went with the assumption, then the members gonna have many members gonna have a trainer, so there's gonna be less null values. So since I had 2 options to either create a table or add trainer ID to the session, I took with the first one because there's less nulls. So we add trainer ID as a foreign key in session. For another extra table, we have a multi-valued attribute here. Since a member can have multiple contacts, we create a separate table for that. For many-to-many, admin to membership, we do have a separate table. For this one, we do have a separate table. So we have a total of 3 separate tables, and so we have a total of 12 separate tables together. Okay. Hello, this is the query part. So for member, for all the member ID, training ID, session ID, goal ID, we do have it as auto increment. So each time we add a member, we're gonna get a member ID for it. For this, we went gender with gender. For this, only gender can be not null, I guess. For contacts, on delete cascade. So if the member gets deleted, contact would also get deleted. Again, we said personal fitness data is not necessary. They can add it or not, so they can also have it as null. if they don't want one of them. Same thing for fitness data record. They can leave some of them null if they don't want want to focus on it. For trainers, just basic stuff: date of birth, gender, first name, last name. For room, we have 2. Everything as it is. In this case, we have 3 foreign keys here. Admin, other than name, first name and last name, we don't need much else. For member status, none of them can be null, and for member type, the max is 7 because there is these 3 options, and for status, the max is 7 because there's these 5 options. There's these 5 options. So for payment records, for payment record on the payment status, you can have 9 max. Payment method, you can have this much max, so 6. And for amount, you can only pay up to this much. Okay, so for indexing, we create 3 separate index, and that is because we use it for our benefit in this create view. So on create view, we have the member ID, the member name from the member ID, and then the trainer name from the trainer ID. So it's going to be easier if we have this, and then same goes for the room name from the room number, so we can get all of these faster. So from the start date and the end date, same thing. So we have 4 indexes here, so there are 1, 2, 3, and 4. For trainer, we create a view for the trainer session view, and we create one for all the sessions for each member. For our trigger, we have 3 trigger functions. Okay, one is to check the room if it is booked or not. This is the logic it uses. It checks for all the similarities. If all of them are similar, it would say an exception that the room is already booked. Same thing for the so like I said, we're going to prevent the member from adding 2 health metrics on the same date. So this will check if the date is already there. If it is, then it will say for that member, if it is, it will say that it's record, please try it tomorrow. It will raise an exception. Same thing for the payment date. It will check if there's a payment date for that specific member, and if there is, it would raise an exception. Okay, so let's go to the DML. Since we are using an identity key, we're not going to have the member ID as default. Member ID, it needs to be generated. So you need to run this query first for it to get generated. And since a lot of other like session ID, session table, and then subscription table inherits these one, also has a auto incrementing part. You need to run this second one for the member subscription session, personal fitness as a goal ID. So for those to get generated, and then you run this third query. Since payment records take subscription ID, this needs to be generated, and since subscription ID takes member ID as the foreign key, this needs to be generated. So run these 3 queries and they should be filled. Okay. Hello, this is the application side. Let's just start by adding a member. Okay, and I guess do you at gmail.com. Then birthday is 005, 05, okay, and gender is male. Okay, member added. Let's do a contact. Okay, contact added. Let's add today's dates. And then we'll choose basic, then active. You can put it by default as active, but it will be easier for the admin to change it. So 2025 then let's pay 88, credit, and then approved. Okay, let's try and make sure we have them all. Okay, so you can see it is active and basic, and member number is 22 right here. We did make a payment. Nice, $88. We do have a contact right here, and then we do have a membership. Yo, Hossain. Okay, now let's try to update the. Let's try to add a goal. Okay, so our min number is 23, 22. Okay, let's do 50, and then let's do 10. Okay, let's make sure we have that. Okay, nice, we do have it right here, and then let's try to update this. Okay, let's just 22, then let's re-enter our to say 90 and 40, and then if we rerun this, we can see it was updated here. Okay, so update personal detail, this is the same logic. Add contact, we already did that from a function previously, so for time I'm not going to show that. Update goal, and it's gonna take some time to add a metric, so we're just gonna use a one from here. It uses the same logic as like the member and stuff. Okay, instead of for numeric, it just uses double. So say we have the membership here, all the sessions, all the help metrics here, and we want something recent. So we have 2 right here for member number 1. So if we do show all for member number 1, we can see there's 2 of them. But if we use the dashboard for member number 1, we can see it will only show the recent one. We do that by using a limit. We do like a decreasing one, and we use a limit to get that. For upcoming sessions, we use something called current date, and we just compare that by the given date. So right here, we just compare that by the given date, and we do it at a decreasing order. So we get the one that is the latest. We don't need to book a session because it will take some time, but it uses the same logic. And let's just see all the sessions from here. Sessions. Okay, we have some sessions here. So member number 2 has 2 sessions. So let's try to see all booked session for member number 2. Member number 10. So we only have 1 session for member number ID number 2. Oh, that's room number, my bad. So member number 2 only has 1 session right here, which is session number 6. So it is session number ID 6. Let's see. Okay, schedule. Okay, let's do schedule view for trainers. So 11 and say trainer number 1. Okay, so trainer number 1 has 2 sessions. So in sessions, trainer number 1 right there. These 2 are the sessions for trainer number 1. It is 9 and which is 4 and 1. So trainer ID, yeah, 1 1. So it's 4 and 1. Okay. Again, it uses the same logic as it uses from the viewport where the member ID is equal to the trainer ID is equal to the specific trainer ID. Okay. So let's do lookup by member. So we added someone. Okay, since they don't have a health metric, we're just gonna use someone else. So we're just gonna use me. So right here, Gazi and Hossain. Gazi at gmail.com. Okay, we can see the health metric right here, the last metric. Again, it uses the limit by decreasing order and target weight. It is case sensitive because it uses something called I like, which looks like that. So that's how it does that in the case sensitive part. So it is case insensitive. So we'll do something like we'll look up a number, we'll do Gazi and then Hossain and then Gazi gmail.com. I made an error right here. Gazi and then Hossain, then Gazi@gmail.com. Yeah, again it is case sensitive, so it will give you the same result. Okay, let's try to make a payment would be same thing. Update a session. Let's try to quickly update a session. 13 and enter MID is 4. Let's try to change session number 4, and we'll change session number 4 to room number 1. So session number 4 and room number 1. Let's try to rerun this. So we can see session number 4 was changed to room number 1, and then it does get added to the tables, so we can know it made a change. So we put admin number as 4, and we can see 4 changed to session number 4 right here. Okay, let's try to make a payment. This is the same logic as when we're making a payment when creating the membership. Manage a subscription uses the same logic as this. We'll just do it in case. So I'm sorry, the video was cut off. Okay, let's try to change the membership to someone's membership. So we enter admin ID. Let's do 4 again. Member ID is 22. So let's change from basic to say premium, and for status, let's do paused. Okay, it got changed, row added. Okay, let's try to reset this, and we can see it's paused and premium. And for subscription admin, let's see if the change was made or not. Yeah, we can see 4 and 23 was changed right here. Okay, this is just the basic stuff, and 70 will get all the payment records. Let's do for someone. So let's do number 1. Number 1 made 3 payments right here. You can see number 1 made 1 payment, 2 payments. This is a screen record, but subscription record is number 1 here. Member ID is number 1 for subscription record. So 1, 2, 3. Client, proof of proof declined, and yeah, that is pretty much it. Thank you for watching.